BrosTalk.com.
We back up in this thing, ready to get some on that wax.
Another session with the Bros Talk, where the beer's ice cold. Bros Talk. Another session with the Bros Talk. Come and tell us what you know. Bros Talk.
Yo, what up world, what up universe, what up peoples and tweeples out there? It's your boy T-Broski. I got my main mans in the building with me, King DanO.
What it do?
What's going down, man? Lando.
What's going on, y'all? That's Cory.
Yeah, man, I was gonna ask y'all how y'all doing, but he ain't looking too good.
Cory
over
ain't
there.
looking good at all, man.
Yeah, I'm choking on my own spit.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Get some of that water in you, yeah.
How y'all players doing, man?
I'm chilling. Can you breathe?
Yeah, I'm doing better now. It's doing good until I got here.
Oh, man. It's good, man.
So,
how y'all doing? How you doing?
man, living life to the maximum, man. You know how I'm living. I tell you one thing, though, man. I seen some cool shit this morning, man. It was a couple of guys that was working.
Nothing good.
No, they was just chilling.
Started making trouble in the neighborhood.
And then they got in one little fight, and their mom got
Yeah,
scared.
we out there. Okay, I'm just making sure we pod.
But so, yeah, the couple of guys they were up. Couple of guys, they were just hanging out, and they had their business. They maintained their business. They was cutting grass, whatever, and they was in the midst of cutting grass, just enjoying each other's company, just chilling, talking, having a conversation, and it just dawned on me that, damn, these motherfuckers is entrepreneurs, man. There's no time schedule for them. They don't have to do this within a certain time frame. They don't have to do this in a certain time frame. There's no barrier. They do what they want to do, how they want to do it. So I just wanted to give a big shout out to all the entrepreneurs out there.
Yeah, keep
that's
grinding.
doing your thing. Keep grinding.
You got a vision. It don't matter if anybody else sees it. You got it. Grind for it.
Keep going. Keep going hard. Keep that same aspiration you had to start it. Keep that same aspiration when you feel like nobody's dependent on you. Or when nobody's believing in you or nobody sees the same thing that you see. Keep going. Outside of that, my next point, which is Oregon State basketball team was kicked out of their hotel after losing a game in the tournament.
Right.
So apparently they lost the game. They, did whatever they were supposed to do there, their little press run, and then, go back to the hotel, you chill out, and you probably leave the next morning, as anybody would, whether whoever you are, whether it's a tournament.
Well, you don't even have to leave the next morning. I think sometimes teams sit there and watch the rest of the tournament, right?
Okay, so we gotta understand we're in a pandemic. I understand that. So we gotta knock that out. But what's your average checkout time for a hotel?
11 a.m.
11 a.m. the next
That's
morning.
almost standard.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
And then they have open invitations,
Right.
or open reservations.
1:15 a.m. You know what I'm saying?
And that's the case. That's the
and-
time that they got put out at 1:15 a.m. They get knocks on the door, told to get out. They arrive back on campus at 4 a.m. Now,
That shit whack.
was there flights at? Did they change their flights to 1:15?
So were they playing like locally? Like how were they
That's what I
on
was-
campus back at 4:15 or whatever?
because they're playing in Indianapolis.
Right. So it's like Austin, like the Longhorns playing out in San Antonio or something, then going back home instead of staying the night. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, you got to think about it. There's time difference too, from Indianapolis to Oregon. So there's a time difference. They're arriving at 4 a.m. at their time. And I
So
believe
then
that's
they would
6
have
a.m.
had to have the planes already scheduled for that.
I'm
time.
assuming that their
No.
flight.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, they would have.
So did they get kicked out, or were they just like, yo, we gotta get on this plane? Tell them we're kicking them out.
I
I don't know.
I
That's a
don't
lot.
know. It's
That's
just-
a lot to coordinate all of a sudden at 1:15 in the morning. It's like, yo, that hotel is tripping. We got to go now.
Even if the
You know what I'm
hotel
saying?
tripping, I don't think you book a flight for 1:15 a.m.
No,
that's
what they had to do.
For a whole basketball team.
Right. But not knowing your results of that game.
No.
1:15 a.m. booking is something.
I'm saying the first
plan.
thought about that was at 1:15 a.m. Like when the hotel came and knocked on their door and was like, "Yo, y'all got to go." It's like, "Oh shit, now we got to get the team home." You know what I'm saying? So at 1:16, it wasn't at 1:15. At 1:16 a.m. You know what I'm saying? Somebody was like, "Yo, we got to get this whole team back to Oregon." You know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't see it happening that way.
Then what happened? Like, how did they get back? Like, who bought? It couldn't have been the hotel. It wouldn't have been the hotel that was like, all right, and we got these tickets set up for you. Like they obviously had to call like the home athletic department was like, yo, we're about to charge 32 tickets. You know what I'm saying? Because they kicking us out right now, so we're gonna just charge some tickets right now to the team. I mean, to the school or whatever. You know what I'm saying? They'll dispute it later or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Regardless of who makes that call, like how long
You
is
wouldn't.
that flight?
7 hours and 25 minutes.
For the flight?
Yeah.
To me, the fact when you look at it, they earned the right to get here. They're treated at higher level than tournament teams. Like, you don't just kick them out the hotel in the middle of the night.
Exactly.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
gotta give them a rest time.
They're
Absolutely.
not even that. They're paying customers in your hotel. You don't kick them out at 1:15.
It's not even. It's not on the hotel. That was the NCAA decision.
To kick them out. That was the NCAA that was like, all right, well, since y'all lost, y'all gotta go.
That's not the hotel saying y'all gotta get out. The room is paid for. When
11 a.m.
That's not the hotel saying they gotta get out. That's NCAA coming in and saying
y'all gotta
they
go
lost.
home.
Let's get them out of here.
If I run a hotel, I want the
It's
NCAA to book teams at my hotel. You know what I'm saying? I'm not kicking nobody the fuck out. You know what I'm saying?
You can say that, but if the NCAA is paying for your room or fronting your room, and then those rooms,
you know them rooms is paid for already. They paid for them rooms.
But
4
how
months
long?
ago.
How long do you pay for it? Do you pay for somebody? Do you pay for a team that plays the first bracket? You pay for their hotel room for the whole tournament, even though they lose the first bracket.
You pay, no, you have a proximity plan for every team. You know what I'm saying? Say a team wins. You know what I'm saying? And then just like this team, they won all the way through, and then all of a sudden they lost. You at least let them sleep it until the next morning and let them leave.
I'm asking about the money. Where's the money coming from?
The money is already
But
is already there, so they're not recouping any money by kicking them out at 1:15 in the morning and shaving 8 hours off of their time.
I'm saying if you're paying for something,
the
somebody
already paid for it.
Somebody is paying for this hotel room, right?
Yes.
Are you paying for that person, said team, to stay there from the beginning of the tournament to the end of the tournament?
No.
That's when you're going to book the rooms for, because you do not know when they're going to fall off this tournament.
Right, exactly.
So if you're paying for this room and you don't pay for this room because of whatever, if they try to charge for said room and said room does not get paid for, then who is responsible for that room? I do not know as a hotel owner, so I have no choice but to tell you, hey, knock, 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 you got to roll.
That's not the situation.
The NCAA wanted to get the Oregon State team to get out of Indianapolis as quickly as possible in order to eliminate any potential risk of spreading COVID. All the players are tested. They're not even allowed. The personnel is not even allowed out there until they're proven negative.
Right.
They're literally in a bubble.
Right.
Followed back to, so you can't use the COVID excuse in this, because literally that's a controlled area.
Exactly.
You don't get in unless you're good, and if everybody's good, nobody's supposed to be able. Yeah, you ain't got nothing to worry about.
Right.
So all this is just showing that they continue to use these college students as cash cows.
Right.
They don't get the right to make any money off their jerseys, off their name,
off of anything, any of their work, any of the shit that they put in.
Again, so the NCAA's stance on that is choosing to kick these guys out. Was this an agreement upon the NCAA and these teams? Is this the only team that this happened to?
Right.
Is this the first team?
Like,
these are the particulars that I'm saying. We don't know all the particulars.
That's what's crazy to me about the whole thing. Is how could this, if they're moving like that, this can't be the only team that they did it to, you know what I'm saying? So, or if this is the only team that they did it to, then what was going on?
Why
was this team like as soon as they lost was like, all right, well these guys got to get the fuck up out of here. Like what was going down?
That's what I'm saying. We don't know all the particulars behind the whole situation. The whole situation we're going off of,
but it's still something fucked up. You know what I'm saying?
A third eye. It may not be fucked up. This may be something that this team and these guys already agreed upon. It just seems fucked up because of us on the outside looking in. Yes, you would like somebody to sit down and get their rest time and their break time after playing the game.
It's not even that.
I'm gonna say it like this, playing the other side of the fence. If this is something that was agreed upon, these players are hopping on a flight. They're getting on a plane. Nobody's flying that plane. They're hopping on a bus. They're getting on the bus. Nobody's driving that bus. Nor the coaches, nor the players, nor the athletic staff, or any of that. They have their own bus driving. There are people that fly planes. So in degree, they're already out of the tournament. They're not playing no more. Yes, I'm going to get them home as fast as I possibly can to be as safe as they possibly can be.
But why just that one team?
I don't know if that's what I'm saying. We don't know the particulars.
The guy running it,
it's literally just that one team.
The guy running it got denied from going to Oregon State, and he's had a grudge ever since.
The guy running the tournament?
Yeah.
Got denied. So that's a conspiracy?
Nah. Yeah, that's a new one.
Like he didn't get accepted to Oregon State.
Yeah, man.
So he's had a
He put in so for years he's just been working towards this.
With this
part
one
of his master
particular
plan.
point.
Yeah, bro.
Well, then he wins.
It's my bad.
Which brings me to another point. MLB. So what happened
with the MLB decided to move their draft and All-Star game out of Atlanta because of the recent voting laws that the state of Georgia enacted.
Now, is that political or is that just a strategic thing business-wise to keep money flowing?
It's both.
It's definitely political.
It's definitely political. It's mostly political.
It's definitely political, but it's definitely both. You know what I'm saying? But
well, yeah. The money.
Well, explain that. Explain the both sides of it. So they're going for a money grab politically.
No, because if they don't come out and say something, you know what I'm saying, then it'll look like they support or agree with the whatever the laws are. They can't have that. They don't want, especially baseball has been trying to appeal to a younger demographic for years.
So do we know if the Atlanta Hawks has said anything to denounce this law?
They don't have to when the MLB comes out and they can blanket everybody.
Right.
But haven't everybody been doing the
nope, the MLB
signs that they're not supportive with racial
when the MLB comes out and says it? No, not every team.
That's a whole different look.
Does that. But
the MLB is America's pastime.
It's not even that. It's just this is the overwhelming. So when the MLB makes a rule, that's you think or you have an understanding. Same with the NFL and the NBA that everybody's in a collective agreement, and this is the overall statement from everybody in this organization.
Right. In this organization.
So that saves a lot of people, a lot of owners from coming out and saying what they truly feel.
Exactly,
so the NFL can say, NFL, we denounce racism. We don't think this is cool. You don't think to tell me there's still racist people in the NFL?
Right, exactly.
But it literally gives them a cover so they don't ever have to speak on it.
Exactly.
That's what the MLB did. That's why Atlanta Braves don't have to come out and speak on it.
Right. He didn't even ask about the Braves. He asked about the Hawks.
I was talking about another team, just another
sport.
sport. I was just saying, if you're saying that they're doing this politically and denouncing that, then other teams would want to do the same thing.
The other side of that is the business side of that is because that's why I said it's both, because by them pulling out their All-Star game and their draft, they pull away the business dollars that they would have attracted to the city on those weekends. You know what I'm saying? Those would have been booming weekends in the city of Atlanta.
Yeah, but that has nothing
multiple industries. No. That has a whole lot
to do with the MLB because they're going to make that money regardless.
No. It's not about the MLB.
Yeah,
no. It's
okay for them to move that All-Star game. You know what I'm saying? So it's a punishment to Atlanta. Like, you're not going to make this money.
To the state of Georgia.
Yes.
Exactly.
You're not going to make this money.
They've done it before with the state of North Carolina. You know what I'm saying? In NASCAR. You know what I'm saying? With the
in
with
Arizona.
the bathroom laws. Yeah, and
Arizona.
Arizona.
Time out. Wait, hold on. Expand on that. Bathroom laws and
so they the state of Arizona, not Arizona, the state of North Carolina came out with a bathroom law talking about how transgenders can't use certain bathrooms or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And NASCAR pulled, it was a race or something, you know what I'm saying, that was supposed to be there in the upcoming time, you know what I'm saying? They just pulled it out. It was like, no, we're not fucking with that, you know what I'm saying?
So it wasn't like the Daytona 500 or no crazy shit like that. It was just a race.
That's just a weird thing to take a stance on.
NASCAR is a big fucking deal, especially in.
I'm just asking.
Like,
I asked if it wasn't a big deal. I'm just asking if it was the.
That's a big deal for them to be like, yeah.
I'm just asking if it was a Daytona 500, a big name race or something like that.
I don't know.
I'm not sure, but
so the law basically said that what dudes have to go to the bathroom in male restrooms.
Right.
It's terrible.
But
unfathomable.
That's not what all. But it also said that, like, say somebody who's transgender has to use the bathroom that they were born with, and not the gender that they're walking around in. You
what's
know
the criteria? Like what is the definition of trans? Like, can it be?
I know they took the law back. You know what I'm saying? They missed those dollars. You know what I'm saying? Tax wise and local business wise. You know what I'm saying? And their point was proven. And the same thing's about to happen in Georgia, bro. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. I kind of miss when like sports was kind of its own thing.
Yes, well, sports is it's to the.
Expand on that.
But it's
just you listen to ESPN and you hear politics all the time, and it's just like.
But it's beyond. It's now because now the shit's. We have more attention now. We have the same shit. People been speaking on this same shit. This police brutality.
That's all it is.
Even when the Olympics, the dudes stood up and did the Black Power.
Fist,
like that was so profound within those days.
The guy that was in the picture with him got fucked over. You know what I'm saying? And he didn't do shit. He was just in the picture while they were doing their thing. You know what I'm saying? He won an Olympic medal. You know what I'm saying? People didn't fuck with him because of what was going on that he was in the background of. You know what I'm saying? Like,
so people are doing the same thing is going on. It's just, I think it's just more cameras, more things happening that we can see, and now you have more back and forth, more conversations, more everything. So now ESPN isn't just ESPN. It's some people's daily news. Some people get actual current events of what's going on from ESPN, whether it has something to do with sports on some type of spectrum, obviously. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But you get some type of political views sometimes from ESPN. That's just the way shit is now.
I mean, and I hear what you're saying when you say like you wish sports were just sports again, but how can you take somebody's political opinion from them just because they have a certain job? It's like, well, now that you do this for a living, you now are not allowed to speak on certain things that affect you, you know what I'm saying, or affect the masses just because you do this thing or earn X amount of dollars for a living, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm not saying they can't do that. That's fine. Like, I don't have issues with them doing it.
But
what you mean? I mean, there's no but.
I mean, but you said that you. But from what you were saying, you don't. It seems like you don't like when sports.
Well, like, all right, from like the whole time that Trump was president, you'd hear about Trump, you know. So like, it's more than just one issue. Like
but if somebody is unpopular, you know what I'm saying, you can't hold that against the people that are voicing their opinion because this guy's unpopular.
I agree, but there was people that were unpopular when SportsCenter first started up until about 8 years ago when, you know, politics started getting really interjected into sports, and they didn't. You watch the SportsCenter from 10 years ago, there's no mention of any politics or anything like that. And I'm not trying to take away, you know, and say they shouldn't be saying that. It just sometimes you just want to fucking watch sports, and it's like, god damn, like I gotta hear about.
You can always. I was just saying about the 10 years ago, but what was hot 10 years ago? There was a lot of references on what's hot. They go on what's popular, regardless. That's always the trend.
Right. Whatever keeps people eyeballs on the screen. That's all they need for advertisers. It's not even about the sports. It's about getting enough eyeballs so that they can sell to advertisers. You know what I'm saying? And what they're selling is sports to the eyeballs so that they can get advertisers. You know
And
what I'm saying?
they gotta talk about this and that. I mean, but ESPN has laid people off for political views. Like
Right.
they try their best to keep political views out. So when you say ESPN, I watch a lot of it.
Right.
I don't really see the correlation what you getting at. So sports is sports. They're always going to show what the best player is talking about. So the best player is talking about politics in his interview. ESPN is going to report if he talks about politics or what his dog did that day,
Right, or
what he
clowns.
feels about the earth being a certain shape.
Yeah.
Right.
Like no matter what, they're going to report what the best player says. So when you say you wish sports to get back to sports, like it's the players voicing their political
Right.
views.
And
Like,
you also got
everybody
to
has a
think
right
people
to.
want 24-hour access to these athletes. So you got to think every day they're like there's a camera in their face, there's a microphone in their face, and people just want to get some type of sound bite so that they can expand and expound upon that and get people talking about it, even if it's the craziest shit. You know what I'm saying? So they take that whatever person's talking about, whatever thing is shaped, whatever thing, and now that's a week-long discussion, you know what I'm saying, off of a 6-second conversation, you know what I'm saying? Hey, what do you think about this? I think
and I
it's
guess
this way.
that's what I'm getting at. Like, I don't really have an issue with the players and them reporting and saying, hey, LeBron James said this, this player said this, Paul Pierce had some, girls dancing over here. All that's cool. It's I don't want to hear their opinion of it afterwards. Like, and then they expand upon it and
But
sit
that's
there
what
and talk
they
about
get
it.
paid
Yeah.
to do.
You're right.
Not,
But then
not
again-
used to though.
But then
like
again,
they used to only talk about sports.
yeah,
And
so-
but
you're
they're
not
still-
paid
but
to
they-
talk.
are they still not
They
Americans?
did
Are they
not.
still not allowed to talk about? Like, I hear what you're saying, but I just
To me, that's more
What they're doing is
Fox News or
reporting
C-SPAN, whatever.
what the players. They've always debated what the players did. Now
Right.
you're looking at the topics. They're talking about what the players
Right.
did and what they say in interviews. It's nothing new.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
always been that way. It's just now people value the
Right.
athlete more than they did back in the day.
Right.
Because you can see what athletes are doing
Because
and how
if
they're
you-
educating
if
themselves.
you even go back 30 years before MJ, you know what I'm saying? You had OJ talking about
30 years.
I'm not black,
I don't
I'm
know.
OJ. You know what I'm saying? Like
I don't know if that
it might be
Number.
20 years, but it
might not be that.
might be 20
Wasn't
years.
OJ
but
in the
still.
90s?
Might be like
OJ was in the 70s
I mean,
when he was doing his
80s.
thing.
Yeah.
Nah,
70.
yeah.
I'm thinking, when was
He
the
was,
chase?
he was a correspondent in doing movies in the 80s already.
Wasn't that in the 90s? That's what I was thinking of.
That was just a trial.
he's
Yeah,
probably
that
about-
was
No, he's
Talking
talking about the actual.
when he made the quote, "I'm not black, I'm OJ." You know what I'm saying? That was 70s. You know what I'm saying? They asking him as a black athlete to speak on conditions in the black community, and he says, "I'm not black, I'm OJ." You know what I'm saying? I'm out here doing my thing.
Well, see that was my point. Now you have more freedom to a certain degree to talk.
Right.
Like you get shunned in the
But as
get
you can see, people don't like that. People don't want you to talk. People just.
But
want
I'm
you
saying
to shut
you
up
get
and play.
shunned in the background though. So
I didn't
back
say
in the
that.
day,
That's what you
like
just
back-
said.
It's not.
But
I
back
told you
in-
that I don't mind hearing their opinion, but I don't want to
But
hear.
But the
I don't want to
correspondents
hear
are
the,
definitely going to talk about whatever they're talking about. That's always been the thing. You know what I'm saying? That's always what they talk about. They say Ken
wanna
Griffey
hear
Jr. thinks he's got the best swing in the league. You know what I'm saying? Do you really think he's got the best swing in the league? He's like, well, I don't know, Dick.
All right, well,
that's
that's
not-
sports.
that's
You know
sports.
what I'm saying?
That's my
politics.
point.
Right.
That's, I want to hear that. I
So-
don't want to hear them say, "Well, all right, well, he said this," and that reminds me that gun
Joe
violence
Biden,
in America is this, and we can't deny what this is. This I don't want to hear that shit. Like that's not what I'm listening to. I'm cool with players voicing their opinions. I don't agree with Laura Ingraham, I think she was, who said shut up and dribble or whatever.
Right.
I don't agree with that shit. Like.
Right.
I'm glad that he has a voice, and LeBron James has done a lot of good things for people.
But you don't want people to speak on that voice.
I think there's a platform for it, and for me, fine.
Using
ESPN
that
politics.
platform, but that's
Like,
no. But I'm saying he's
ESPN
him as an
politics.
athlete is using his platform to force these discussions. You know what I'm saying? If
I think you're taking it as he has a problem with them bringing the issue versus
right, that's
it
what
being
it
on
sounds like.
ESPN.
Right.
He's saying I don't want to hear it on ESPN. I don't have a problem them talking about it, but use ESPN platform for sports. If you want to make ESPN politics, then make ESPN politics or a brief segment or a segment within that. But if I turn to ESPN and they're talking about, I'm just trying to help you, but gun violence or whatever like that, like I would like to hear that on a platform where I'm going for that information. So right now I want to hear who scored last night, shit like that.
ESPN has certain packages for that. Literally, they run 24-hour sports center, and they talk only about the sports, and they run only sports highlights. ESPN, which is their main channel, offers diverse opinions on things that's going on.
But that's the one that's free with the normal package.
Exactly.
There you go. Exactly.
So that's the one so I gotta pay so I can just hear regular sports?
Or you can listen to the radio or go to a different, but this is what they're offering. Or they offer straight sports at this time, this time, this time,
been about
and this
what's
time.
going on in pop culture. You know what I'm saying? Like it's
Like
always
this
been
time,
about sports in pop culture.
They've expanded their brand because people enjoy it. Like people literally get up and listen faithfully to sports talk radio.
Yeah.
And this goes back in the day. It's not just about sports. It's one guy's opinion on how he views it.
Right.
And people tune into that and they listen.
Think about
regardless
Rush Limbaugh,
about what he's saying.
He did his thing on the radio. But it's the same thing. He made his money off of radio. You know what I'm saying?
Now, Rush, this is the guy who...
I mean, he was on Family Guy. That's the only shit I know about.
This is the guy who
What?
did...
No. Rush Limbaugh. Hold on. Rush Limbaugh was a piece of shit. You know what I'm saying?
Of course. That's what they made him on Family Guy.
He used to rail hard against addicts and shit like that. Meanwhile, he was an addict himself. You know what I'm saying? And then once he got caught up by the laws, he went to rehab. That's when he changed his tune.
Is he not the one who called the Rutgers women team Nappy Head Hopes?
No. That was I can't remember his name, but that was a different dude. You know what I'm saying?
I thought it was Rush Limbaugh.
No. It was definitely not Rush Limbaugh. It was definitely a different guy.
Howard Stern.
No, it wasn't Howard Stern either.
Of course it was.
No, it wasn't
Bill
Howard
O'Reilly.
Stern. No, it was another.
Don Lemon.
No, it was a white guy. It was a white guy.
I know Rush Limbaugh did a lot.
But anyway, back to the topic about sports and politics. You know what I'm saying? I just think that we're at a different phase now. Down Imus. Yeah, but
he got fired and then got a whole better job than he just had. White privilege.
More people are interested in where you stand, not only just for sports stars, but for corporate infrastructures and things like that. Where you stand morally and ethically, as far as being woke or whatever you want to call it.
So how close is the MLB moving out of Atlanta due to voting laws? How close is that to basically buying votes? Right? How is that buying votes? Because you're taking money away. You're taking money away. That if you stop doing this, I'm just trying to say. Yeah. Think about it. You're threatening to take money away, or you're going to.
No, they already did. They said they're doing it, right?
So,
but that's because the state of Georgia. But no.
They didn't take any.
They had the potential. They had the potential.
The ability to make that money.
But the state of Georgia enacted these laws because of what was already declared a fair and clean election. All of a sudden, they need to enact these new set of laws to make sure that the elections are even fairer and even cleaner. Is that's the state of Georgia's position right now? You know what I'm saying?
So what's exactly in it?
Eco-friendly law. Okay.
Because that's my issue. Like, is I don't really know that much about what's in the law. The only thing that I know is people.
Let's just pull the law up and let's just go line by line and see how we feel.
They're making it illegal to do simple things like pass out water to people who are in line, which you can feel whatever way you want on that. But they're closing down voting centers in certain locations, but they're not in other locations. You know what I'm saying? They're making it harder to vote for certain demographics or certain locations that they are not in other locations. They're being called new Jim Crow laws.
Having having a county with 35 voting places and then dumbing it down to 2.
Right.
But both of those places being on the side of town in which it takes other people buses and stuff like that to get to.
Not only that, and then the lines.
But they call it fair and equal because if you go out to a rural county that has 1/10 of the population, they have one voting center there out there as well. You know what I'm saying? So it's working for them, so it should work for you.
I don't know.
They're being forced to deal with. You know
I think you should have as many voting places as possible. I don't understand why anyone would want to.
Because
that's the only way.
Well, let me not say I don't understand. Me
win.
With my morals, I don't understand.
Morals. Yes, I understand. But what I'm saying is that there's only way one side can win is by restricting voting access. You know what I'm saying?
That's untrue. You can win by having a fair, clean, eco-friendly election.
Okay.
You can have an eco-friendly election.
Yeah, exactly. But you gotta come with better policies. You can definitely win, but you gotta come with some better policies. And right now, one side doesn't have the policies. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, what do you say policies? What do you mean? Having somebody count the numbers right? Letting somebody count the votes right?
No, when I'm talking about policies, I'm talking about the things that they want to do that will affect us for either the near future or the far future. What do they have envisioned, either commercially, militarily, infrastructurally, nationally?
You're talking about voting, though.
Internationally. I'm talking about policies, the things that we're voting for, like how they feel their policies might be. You might not like the person, but you might vote for their policies.
I think 2020 showed that we vote for who we don't like.
How are we getting to the voting booth? You're saying like we're getting restricted
for policies. You know what I'm saying? Because I did.
Want me to read off what they talking about in the bill or no? Okay.
Georgia.
It says, shrinks the windows for voters to request mail ballots. Rather than allowing voters to request ballots 6 months from election day, it shrinks down to 78 days.
78 days.
It's a random amount of days.
Counties and the state can send mail ballot applications only to voters who request them. Down. Okay, new voter ID requirements.
So that's cutting out illegal aliens, because that's what was one of the things that. Oh, there was a lot of illegal aliens that voted. I want to say in Georgia and Alabama.
I'm pretty sure that was disputed, but go ahead.
Disputed by who?
A limit on the number of ballot drop-off boxes during early voting. Shorten early voting in runoff elections.
Right. So, all a bunch of shit to limit the vote. Nothing
State
about
lawmakers get much more power over county and local elections.
Yeah, it's for everyone. It's for everyone equally. But why are you limiting the vote?
I agree.
Like,
I agree with
should
that.
be just like your Second Amendment. You know what I'm saying? It should be just as protected. But for some reason, it's easy as fuck to pass laws restricting your right to vote. But you can't touch a fucking gun law. You can't even discuss a fucking gun law. But you can restrict the fuck out of somebody's voting rights.
Well, you can discuss gun laws. They may not get passed.
They rescinded the I think it's the 1965 Voting Rights Act. The whole reason they're able to pass laws like this and shit now, you know what I'm saying, is because the shit got rescinded from the Supreme Court a couple years ago under Trump. Like, I just don't understand that shit, you know what I'm saying? But to get back to the point of the topic, the whole topic of this discussion, you know what I'm saying? A corporate entity deciding to take their business dollars away from someplace because they decided to enact a law they don't like is totally fine and part of the free market, you know what I'm saying? If you decide as a state or whatever to say whatever is now allowed, whoever is allowed to say, no, I'm not rocking with that, and I'm not going to spend my business dollars over here.
I thought you didn't like capitalism.
I don't fuck with capitalism, but if y'all want to scream free market and all that shit all the time, then when the market don't work in your way, you want to get mad. I don't understand that either. That's super hypocritical. You know what I'm saying?
Well, no one likes it.
It can't be both ways. You can't have it both ways. You can't get mad when it don't work and then be happy when it do work. Like, that's the market. You know what I'm saying? Y'all want to enact these dumbass laws. Well, then you got to suffer the consequences. You know what I'm saying?
Like, baseball's not the only one doing that. Tesla, all these big companies, once they be like, hey, we're going to do this. So you know what? I'm going to move my company away from here.
Yeah.
Right.
And they're definitely like, let's go back and rethink laws. So it's not just MLB.
So,
no, definitely not.
Is it because of the I can't even call it a racial thing? even though it may be.
Oh yeah. Oh no, it's a fact.
Okay, so is it because
they enacted Jim Crow like laws?
Yeah.
So are those same companies, Tesla for instance, moving out of these places due to these same type of laws being in place, or is it because of something that's going to be detrimental to their business bottom line? So this law is going to stop me from doing said business or hiring said person. So I want to leave because I can get cheaper. I can keep more money in my pocket moving over here.
No, I think it's bottom line. It looks better for them long term to take a stand against a unjust law. You know what I'm saying, or whatever.
No matter what the law is,
right. No matter what's right. You know what I'm saying. If the people feel a certain type of way, it looks better for you to stand with the people. Or it could be just as a business, like the whole board and everything is all like, yeah, no, we're gonna do this. You know what I'm saying. You never know. You know what I'm saying. It depends on who's got the power. Like Elon Musk has the power to be like,
I understand that. I'm saying, but is he moving?
Like, what are we talking about? MLB. I don't think there's one person that's rocking. That's like.
I'm not saying it's one person. I'm saying the reasoning behind a company moving. MLB is moving
for Elon Musk. It's taxes.
That's what I'm saying. So for him, he don't give
taxes
a shit
in
about
California
a political stance on anything.
But we're not talking about California. We're talking about Georgia.
But
we're just talking about people that leave. We're talking about people that leave their states.
No. We're talking about Georgia.
I was talking about big companies using their business to attract dollars to the state to enforce certain things.
Right.
Like, hey, this is not morally unjust. Or, hey, you're going to tax too high. I don't care what it is, but they're using their business as a power
I
to
can't
swing
stand that shit.
in their way.
Yeah.
So it goes both ways.
Yeah.
Tesla's saying, hey, if you tax us more, we're going to leave and go to a different state.
Exactly.
And they decide, we're not going to tax the rich. That's different.
That's what California's trying to decide now.
That's no different than MLB saying, you're doing Jim Crow like laws.
Right.
We're out of here. But the thing is, they're just moving an all-star game.
It's just they didn't
Tesla
leave the team.
Tesla
They didn't take the
moved
team.
their whole business out.
Right. They didn't take the team or the
But
farm
it's
team.
other companies taking a stand. But of course, because sports is very popular,
right?
They're going to focus on this story. But it's other companies who come out and take a stand against it.
Exactly.
Saying, hey, you need to do this and do that. But because sports is in your face every day, this is really getting... But it's been done before. And it'll get done again.
Right, exactly. We've been through this a couple of years ago.
And I mean that's the I guess the crazy part of it is the full circle that be happening where situations take place. It just seems like them shits get a little bit more intense as the years go by versus as being as I learned from this mistake, so I'm not if I find myself in this same situation, it wouldn't be as detrimental versus it just seems like shit's getting a lot more intense and stuff like that.
I was going to ask what y'all think about them lowering the voting age or trying to lower the voting age to 16.
Why would they do that if they're not going to let you drink or anything like that? Then I don't think they should do any of that shit. They'll
That's what
lower
I
the
said.
voting age. They'll let you join up for the military, but you can't get drunk. You
can't buy cigarettes.
None of that shit. Fuck out of here.
That's what I said.
So
Let's
voting, wait, y'all align voting and what? Y'all align voting with drinking and smoking?
I mean,
I feel like if you're
you
not
say
old
I
enough,
have enough say.
No, it's just
vote.
yes or no. Do y'all align voting with? Okay.
Yeah, if
That's
you
fucking
say have enough say to be a.
So then where does
legal
driving
adult,
come in that place?
I'm already driving if I'm 16.
Not true, but
I mean, legally, I have the opportunity to drive. I don't know. I'm not saying personally.
So
I'm
you
saying
think
legally.
that kids should have the ability to drive?
No. But I'm saying if they want to make it so that kids can vote, then kids should be able to have some other rights as well. Like,
so if I can vote, I should be
we
able
don't
to
want
drink.
kids voting. We want
we
adults.
don't want kids voting. Exactly.
But I'm saying, but that's what you just said.
That's what
if
they're saying.
If I should,
that's
if
what
I
they're
can
saying.
vote, I should be able to drink.
16-year-old chopped up full of hormones should be allowed to vote. So fuck it, he should be able to buy a gun and get along.
Who's saying that? You saying that?
That's what they're saying.
Where he's saying their line of logic is.
Right.
Like if you're anyone who thinks that the voting age should be lowered to 16.
So I'm confused. Y'all don't agree with that, or y'all do agree with that?
It's
no.
I don't know if 18 is old enough.
Where is the
I'm just playing.
I'm trying to
just
figure
playing.
out where is the lines between a kid being able to drink in
It's not. It's just you have to wait until you're a certain age to do those things.
Right.
So if I have to wait all the way till I'm 21 to drink
And
or
smoke.
smoke legally,
Then
then
why
why
should-
have I
why
been
can-
voting for 5 years?
Right.
I don't even know how to. I
3
can't.
years.
Well, 16 to 21, 5.
Oh yeah, right, exactly. 16,
but
20.
I'm
Why am I
saying, so
voting?
I don't
If I'm
get-
voting, that means I have to sign up for the selective service. That means I can be drafted for 5 years now before I can even
I'd assume that they
buy
didn't
a
send
drink
them.
or.
But I just, and then my whole thing is the dude I was arguing with this about was like, well, they pay taxes, and I was like, most 16-year-olds
Right,
don't
most of them
work.
don't. You know what I'm saying? Like most of them don't work. There's a
Yeah,
few that
I
work.
still don't
remember-
understand the alignment between drinking. And
Okay, buy a gun.
But just think about it as
buying a gun. I don't understand the. I don't
No,
understand.
but no.
Where's the alignment
Because
between?
if you're given the
asking somebody
responsibility-
to be responsible, exactly, to be responsible enough to vote, then they should be responsible enough to do
X, Y, and
X,
Z.
Y, and Z. Yes.
I don't think those align together. I think that's somebody trying to pull out. That's for me. That's the propaganda to pull somebody on your side to say, "Oh, this is wrong," because if this is right, then you should think this way too. I can't say that those two things align with each other. I can't say allowing a child to vote aligns with.
Why are you allowing
God
a
damn,
child
can
to
I?
vote?
I don't agree with a child voting anyways. I'm saying I don't align having the right to vote as a child with allowing a child to drink and smoke. I don't think that's the same fucking thing. You making a choice and decision without conscience of what's going to happen beyond that is not the same thing than going outside, buying a beer and walking down the street drinking that shit at 16 years old and legally being drunk and still being in school. I don't think that's the same thing. That's what I'm saying behind that. That alignment to me is a crazy ass narrative to put out.
I mean,
You
I
know
hear
what?
what you're saying, but
Where
how
to
are
vote?
they able to vote then?
What to vote is a privilege that is done by adults. It's supposed to be taken with responsibility. The same way you drink responsibly.
Right.
In states that have you smoke responsibly. And they feel that as an adult in these states, some is 18, some is 21, so they feel at this age you're able to do this activity responsibly. I don't think 16-year-olds are intact or even understand the world enough or our country enough
Right.
to vote responsibly.
Right.
I agree. You haven't even been out there yet.
Right.
Exactly.
For the most part, I'm sure there
Nobody's
are.
debating that.
So
Nobody's
that's
debating that
so
part.
that's is
Exactly.
if they're an adult and they're responsible enough to choose this decision.
Right. Then they should be able to make this other decision as well.
I understand what you're saying.
So that's
It
the
just
correlation.
doesn't make sense to me. That's all I'm
That didn't
saying.
make any sense right there.
How?
It makes
I
sense.
thought
logically,
that
yes.
broke down. I thought I
Is
killed
it
it
broke
right there.
down? Does it make sense to me? Yes.
Fucking-
It doesn't make sense to me. Logically, it doesn't make sense to me. I don't process it that way. It doesn't
No,
process
if
to
I
me.
didn't convince you,
You
right
don't have to
then-
convince me.
Oh no, I convinced you.
I mean,
did,
bro
huh?
was like,
Y'all got anything before we get up out of here?
Support is free. None of the vibes.
you got anything over there, Chuckles?
Nah, man, I'm good.
Like and subscribe.
I'm good, yes.
I got nothing, man. Appreciate y'all having us.
Shit, appreciate y'all for tuning in. BrosTalk, T-Broski. We up out of here.
Another session with the bros talk, where the beer's ice cold. Bros talk.